Okay, so I'm in another live session. I've had quite a few clear nights in the last week or so. So this is Abell 610. This is a galaxy cluster, and there's actually a few interesting objects in here. This is NGC something or other. So this has a distance of only about 300 or 400 million light years, as does this other galaxy up here, which is another NGC galaxy. At least that's the case, seems to be the case, and these are superimposed upon a cluster of galaxies that are around about 1.4 to 1.5 billion light years distant. So all of these dots that you see in the background here, all of these faint objects are members of the Abell cluster 610. There's 46 members reported, and I think most of them are going to be visible on this image. It's interesting because this is classified as a richness category 0 cluster, which is one of the least rich clusters. Even so, I've always enjoyed looking at Abell clusters because they always appear, I don't know, particularly when they first start to appear, they look like I don't know, a haze of fireflies or something just sitting there, or midges or something sitting there, hanging there at the background. I mean, there are more galaxies in this image than stars, and that's always something that interests me, to look at an image like that. Now, look, a couple of more interesting things here. This, I say, is supposedly a foreground elliptical. Let's look at the number on this. This is this galaxy, NGC 2492. But it is surrounded by what looked to be like a cluster of sort of satellite galaxies. Now, it is, speaking purely as an interested amateur, I think it is the case that often these clusters have one or two large ellipticals, which are like cannibals, really, that are gradually, over the course of millions and billions of years, just sort of eating up some of the smaller members. I don't know if that's the case here, but if that's the case, then of course the distance estimates can't be right. But it does seem rather interesting, and you do sometimes see, I say, the situation where you get a big elliptical with a bunch of little galaxies sitting around. I'm pretty sure these are galaxies and not stars. They don't have the kind of signature of stars. That's one interesting thing. The other interesting thing is that there's no sign of this weird-looking thing. It really looks like a double star, but it doesn't look quite like a double star, and it doesn't appear on my charts at all. So we just look at where we are with that. So we are looking at this, I think. Let's go back to that to see. Yeah. So this is a galaxy here. This is the NGC galaxy. This is that triangle, sort of right-angled triangle of stars. And as you can see, there's actually nothing marked above it, which is quite surprising, really, because you'd expect to see something as bright as that on the map. So again, that's something I'm going to have to investigate later with Sinbad and Aladdin, see what that is. I mean, we can zoom in a bit. And so it doesn't have a typical... Well, it looks stellar, or it looks like a pair of stars. I don't know. But, this doesn't look quite right. Maybe there's something else in there as well. So anyway, that's worth looking at, and maybe tracking down with the Gaia more recently developed or released stellar databases. I use PPMXL rather for the deep charts, and they are somewhat outdated, I guess. So it'd be interesting to see what those things are. I'm just going to run you through this thing. I made the point a few videos back, I think, that you tend to get a lot of artifacts, and particularly on the longer stacks. I don't know whether there's a lot in this part of the sky. The last few nights I've been getting a whole load of these things. You can see it's a stacked image, so we've got an artifact there already. I just run back through the subs here at the beginning, go into the subs, just run through them. First of all, you can see that tracking is just as bad as usual. There you go. Right through the sensor. Oh, there's another one. And there was something up there again, if we just keep an eye on what's going on up here. Yeah, you see there's something up there as well. So this is a really interesting case of all those things. Being there now, of course, I can get rid of those elements, although that particular flyby doesn't seem to have, look, there it is, made much of an impression. If I look at the stack up to that point, it's there, there's a very thin line, but it's really not very noticeable. Whereas this other thing that came through there, you can see really has left its mark. So we can do something like do the 90% stacking. You can see that's got rid of that, for instance, without losing the entire sub. So that's the best way of kind of, as I've sort of suggested before, retaining the best signal to noise ratio in the rest of the image. Okay, I'll leave it at that.